Hello and welcome to Up the Turnpike, your source for New York Islanders content, both here on YouTube and over on Patreon, where we have our podcast that we host twice a week. That's patreon.com/uptheturnpike. In this video, we're getting into some prospects. I said it at the beginning of the year that I wanted to dive back into prospects like I was doing with the Deckhands channel. So, damn it, here I am trying to do the goddamn thing. We're getting back into prospects. And so to do that, I wanted to do it two different ways for this specific video, just for like the kind of first one, but then maybe we adapt that process throughout. I want to look at a high level overview of where we are in terms of our prospect pool, who are the better prospects in our prospect pool, and then talk about the three better prospects from this specific week. I think that's a format that I could use now and going forward, and it can kind of catch us up and talk about different prospects as we continue throughout the season. So, here we are. Let's deal with the top prospects in the pool right now. And so here's my list. Now, this is not in any way, shape, or form definitive. This is not a definitive list. This is based off of my NHLE rankings. And NHLE, as some of you might know, is the NHL equivalent. So based off of their production at the various levels that they are at, whether NCAA, playing in Finland, playing at the AHL level, how does that relate to the NHL? If they were to make the jump from whatever league they are today and into the NHL, what would we expect them to perform? How would we expect them to perform at the NHL level? That's what the NHL here is looking at. And so just for example, based off of Alex Jeffrey's production at the AHL level with the Bridgeport Islanders, we would expect him, if he were to make the jump right away, to be basically a 30-point player, which is great, but still. That's effectively what this is telling us right now. And so it's a good way of comparing and contrasting between the prospects. You've heard me say that spiel. I'm just trying to rope in any new people just in case. So that's what this is telling us. But it's only based off production, people. This is very analytical and not eye test at all. Although there is a little bit of overlap there, but there's no eye test associated with that. So the fact that Isaiah George is number 10 does not mean that I personally rank him number 10th overall, okay? You have to add the eye test on top of what you're seeing here, all right? So here's what the top 10 looks like if we're just dealing with NHLE. Alex Jeffrey's at the top, 30-point player. Quinn Finley, not too far off, 30-point player as well, just dominating the NCAA level right now. More on him later. Foudy, 26 points. Cole Eiserman, 24. Cameron Berg, 21, rounding out our top 5. Now, most of the names there aren't going to be a surprise to any of you. There might be some questions with, let's say, 2 names. I'm going to say 2 names right now. Some of you might question Liam Foudy being on that list. You might say the 24-year-old, not necessarily a prospect in your books. And that's totally fine. I will not argue that at all if that is your argument. That's totally fine. And some of you might be saying, Cameron Berg in the top 5? I know. It's not that he's a bad player. I wouldn't say he's having a fantastic season. You know, the UND program as a whole isn't really having a fantastic year. But he's still being productive. More productive than we've seen him before. So he is doing very well. And this is also kind of showing you how weak, let's say, our prospect pool is. Again, no shot at Cameron Berg at all. He's having a good year. But it's not a great year. It could even be better. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's our top 5. After that, we have Justin Gill, Samuel Bolduc, who had a pretty good week for the Bridgeport Islanders, scoring, 3 points? 4 points in 4 games for the Bridgeport Islanders. So good job by him. He moved up. Matthew Maggio kind of moving a bit down, 17.7. Hasn't been very productive this year. Danny Nelson moving up. Not crazy productive over the weekend. Only a single point, but he's been fine this year and even better since coming back from the World Juniors. And then we have Isaiah George here at number 10 at 16.6, which is straight up NHL production, right? He had only a handful of games at the AHL level this year. He's basically a 17-point player at the NHL level. And again, this only factors in production. It does not factor in anything when it comes to his gap control, his skating, his hockey IQ. None of that eye test stuff is included in that. So you add that to it, and he's a much better prospect than 10th in the prospect pool. He'd be somewhere in the top 5 if I was ranking all of it together. I absolutely love Isaiah George and have for a while. But the fact that he's already there at number 10 for a player who doesn't score a lot of points and from the blue line is impressive to see. So, good job there. That's our top 10 as of today. Now, the next portion of what I wanted to do is looking at the top 3 players from the past week. So, the top 3 performances from this week in the prospect pool. And it starts with Liam Foudy or whatever. 4 games played for the Bridgeport Islanders, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points for the man. That's mighty impressive from him. He had a huge week, a monster week for those Bridgeport Islanders. And just doing even like the unexpected stuff. Like this goal here that he scores on the shorthanded. Watch this with the speed coming through the neutral zone. And he is not supposed to be scoring from there at all. Goalie does not post up and he squeaks it by. Absolutely incredible stuff from a guy who's in great form right now. Foudy's in great form. Foudy, I don't know how to pronounce it necessarily. He's in great form right now. And I've seen some comments even on that specific video saying that he should have been called up instead of Gacom. I'm not sure of that. I may have said that when Gacom was initially called up, but now that I'm seeing what Gacom is doing, I'm not entirely sure that I'm more sure that it was the right call to call up Gacom. It's a lot of calls. He being Gacom has looked speedy, has done everything we've asked him to do, and maybe not chipping with the points, but you're not expecting that just yet. But to Foudy, whatever. Excellent stuff from him on the week. When it comes to production at the AHL level, he is now 3rd in the team with 25 points in 36 games. Catching up to Bino, who's voted into the All-Star game, and catching up to Terry, although Terry was always going to lead the team in points there. But the fact that he's scoring more often now is something to keep note of, because this is a guy who was a former first-round pick and is looking to break out of being just an AHLer and into an NHLer. So maybe by year's end, we've got something here with him if this keeps going. But keep your eye on Liam Foudy, whatever. I'm going to skip to the next one so I don't have to keep correcting that. Next one, Quinn Finley. Quinn Finley keeps doing the damn thing. He has 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points in 2 games played over the weekend for the Wisconsin Badgers, I think it is. Just keeps on performing. He's so gosh darn good at this level. It's just not funny anymore. It's a sight to be seen. If you haven't watched him play for Wisconsin, he is just lights out this year. You can see this replay I've got from him. This is here on the power play with just mere seconds left. Watch him take this puck and just rip it. Here it comes. And there. Boom. Oh, cannon of a shot from Quinn Finley, who is, again, incredibly productive this year for the Badgers there. I just want to pick up the numbers so I can spit them out at you. On the season now, he has 33 points in 24 games played at the NCAA level. He had 16 in all of last season. I'm pretty sure he's still leading the league in production, which, wild stuff. He's no longer leading, but he's second. You see here, Isaac Howard. Okay, yeah, I don't want ad-free. Isaac Howard has 36 points in 24 games for Michigan State. And then Quinn Finley is tied with Jimmy Snuggerud. Good company to be having. This is a guy that we picked up in the 3rd round. He was the youngest kid of that draft and is just getting better year over year. I'm surprised he didn't make Team USA for the World Juniors. He was there last year and he looked great. He's looked great this year. So I'm not really sure why he didn't make the team. There wasn't an injury concern. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but whatever. He's performing very well, and so things keep looking good for him. Number 3 on our list is my favorite, Liukas. Liukas is performing well. He's getting regular ice time for the Bridgeport Islanders finally. 4 games played, 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points for our big Finnish kid here. He's not going to be a top-end producer in terms of like production. That's just not going to be his game. And for anyone who's watched me talk about him over the years, this is nothing new. I've spoken about Liukas in the same way consistently. We're looking at a fourth liner who's physical, that isn't scared to get into scrums and go to the dirty areas and convert. And that's exactly what happens on this goal here. The shot comes in and he just digs. He just goes digging and pops it in. There's nothing special. There's nothing flashy. And there doesn't need to be. He just did a job and he did it well. And again, he's not scared to get physical at all. That doesn't mean fighting. I'm sure he'll do it if he has to. But even in his time in Finland, this kid was a battering ram on skates. He's very much like Cal Clutterbuck. And now that he's adding a little bit of production to his game, look out. Look, I still think that there's an NHL path for this kid. It might take a couple of years, but there's very much a path. And the fact that now he's scoring tells me that he's back on track. He wasn't scoring a lot to begin the year or at all. And now that he's got a little bit of production to his name, I think he's back on track. And I'm not saying we'll see him at the NHL level tomorrow type of thing, but we'll see him at the NHL level eventually. I'm pretty confident of that. And so that's our top 3 producers from the week. Let me know in the comments below if there's someone who stood out to you over the weekend who produced well, and let me know why you thought so. Or if you have any suggestions for me to take a look at in terms of prospects next week, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you have not. It really helps us out. And until then, we'll see you next time.